Welcome to the Polly the Wog channel. I'm Paul, and today we are going to be cleaning up a little bit of this scrap aluminum that I have found the last time I went out scrapping. So I can see that there's a little screw on here. So let's just undo that and see if this will just pull out of here. I think that this handle is extruded aluminum. There we go, we got that out of there. Will that just pull off? It should. Yep. Alright, so that's garbage. Get rid of that. And yeah, I'm going to guess that that's extruded. Just looking at the end of it there. I don't know. Maybe it'll just go as old sheet. I have no idea if it'd be sheet aluminum or extrusion. We'll let the guy at the scrapyard decide, but I think that that would be extruded just because of the way that it is shaped. I don't know, but we got that, so that's good. Nice clean piece there. Now this is definitely extrusion, but we got this circuit board on here, so let's see if we can get that off of there. Come on, little screw. There we go. I have no idea what all this white stuff is that was on this. There we go. Alright, so those were the outside ones. See a few more here. Yeah, this should be a real nice piece of extrusion if I can get all this other stuff off of it. Now, I'm not into the whole circuit board stuff. I have no idea what's good and what's not good on them. I don't even know what any of these parts really are. So, yeah, I tend to just throw them into the shred pile. Although that is a tiny little transformer on there. There's another screw there. Looks like it's it's been shellacked over. I don't know if that's going to want to come off of there. Might have to use the persuader and just give this thing a few whacks. Let's see if this will just pry up a bit. Now let's put on some gloves. Too many little jagged pieces. Yeah, looks like there's another screw right there. There's a few of them. Let's see if these will come out. Oh, these are just spinning. Yep, these are a lot more finicky than I thought it would be. Oh, it really doesn't want to come off. Yeah, too much stuff in the way. Let's go back to just trying to use some brute force. Well, I broke that corner. There we go. Got most of that junk off of there. Yeah, I might go through this and get a couple of these little bits off, but for now we're just going to set that aside. I'm more interested in this piece of extrusion. Alright, let's go back to seeing if we can get these little screws off of here. There we go. That's one. Alright. Alright, back to this last one here. That's aluminum apparently. And let's get rid of all these little bits. Now that's still steel. And those are still steel. That was probably a lot more difficult than it needed to be. These other ones, I have no idea. I would certainly like to get it clean. Although they probably wouldn't hassle me over such a small little amount of contamination. That's kind of funny. Yeah, that started to come out of there. So let's try that with the other side. Let's see if I can pull those out. There we go. Vice grips to the rescue. Alright, come on. There we go. So, after all that, I've got myself a nice clean piece of extruded aluminum. We'll see what that weighs at the end of the video. And let's move on to this little adjustable bar. These end pieces just want to unscrew. I think so. Yep. That just unscrews. Imagine I can whack that out with a hammer. Let's see about this end. Yep, that just slides off, so we'll get rid of that. I think that's a nice clean piece. Yep, nothing left in there, so a nice piece of aluminum there. As for the rest of this, I'd say maybe a few whacks from the hammer. There we go. Smash up that plastic. Nothing there. There we go. Get that little sticker off of there. So yeah, there we go. It's a little bent up, but we got clean aluminum. Alright, ski poles. Never tried to do a ski pole before. I have no idea if these are going to want to clean up nice and easily or what the deal will be. So that's steel on the end. So I'm thinking, just cut this off for the little bit that's left there. Same with these. Trying to pull these grips off will probably be a little too challenging, so that's what I'm going to say is just use a hacksaw and cut them off, or a grinder. But since I'm indoors and I don't want to make a big mess or a lot of noise, let's just use a hacksaw. Yep, that works pretty easy. Let's cut this off here. There we go. Nice clean piece of aluminum. Nice. Alright, let's repeat. little end off here. There we go. Yeah, another nice clean piece of aluminum now. Yeah, why throw that into the tin shred pile? Makes no sense at all. Alright, put our hacksaw away. And last but not least, we've got this chair. Now I see just regular screws holding this in. See if we can just undo these. Yep, and the screws are magnetic, so if you want clean aluminum, they should come out. Got some more on this side. Well, at least these screws come out nice and easy. There we go. There's one that needs to come out. A few more. So it wasn't in good condition, wasn't functional. So that's why we're going to scrap it. And I debated about just throwing it into the tin pile the other day, but it was like, you know what? I want the aluminum. This, you know, one or two things doesn't seem like very much, but over time, if you start saving this stuff up, you can get a nice little pile. And it's worth a lot more than shred. The shred at my yard is 12.5 cents a pound. And even just sheet aluminum at my yard's just over $1. It's like $1.01 or something like that. Extrusion's a lot more. Alright, let's see what's going on here, if I can get any of this fabric off. Alright, that's garbage. That other side just popped off. I would think this side would do the same. That's a little metal clip. I see you, little metal clip. There we go. Is that steel? It is. All right, garbage. There we go. Same with that one. Alright, all this should just come off of here now. Oh, still got clips holding it. There we go. There we are. I'm sure there's probably easier ways to do this, but it's all new to me. And all that matters to me is getting it done. Come on. Come on. There we go. All right. Now I know a lot of this other parts are riveted. All right, so I'm down to all these little rivets, and I'm not quite sure how to get them out of there, so I'm just going to try some brute force. Let's try our big hammer. Release, break it. There we go. This is going to be a pain in the you-know-what. Up out of there. There we go. Yeah, a lot more difficult than it probably needs to be. That's what I assume. That's all steel. So I'll just leave that for the junk pile. Now my cutters seem to be working pretty good at cutting the aluminum, so I think maybe that's the approach that we're going to take here. Alright, so getting these rivets out were a little challenging, but I think I found the secret. Give it a few whacks and break it. Nice. So that's a clean piece of aluminum now. There we go. Now I've got to get this one out. There we go. That's all steel and plastic. So I got these two more little pieces that got to come off. Perfect. Get the other side. we go. Another clean piece of aluminum. Just fold that up. All right, so how are we going to do this one? Well, this metal bar should just come out of here. I believe this is going to be aluminum. Yep. And a steel bar. So a couple more rivets. These should just pull out. Yep. Fold that. All right, we're getting there. Just 2 more little rivets. There's one. And 2. Well, that was a little more effort than, but hey, it works. The end result's all the same. All right, let me tidy this up, get rid of all this steel stuff. I'm going to break out my scales and let's see how much aluminum I actually got. Alrighty, I got my scale all set up here. Got this set on pounds and ounces. Let's start with our little bit of what I believe is extrusion. I know this is, but I think this other piece is too. 10 ounces. 14 ounces, so almost a pound, 0.9 of a pound. So extrusion at my yard right now has got a really good price of $1.95 a pound. So let's see here, $1.95 times 0.9 of a pound equals $1.75. So that's not bad. $1.75 worth of extruded aluminum. Nice. And let's see what the rest of our aluminum pile here is going to weigh. Oh, 1.8 pounds. Add this onto there. 2 pounds. 2.2 pounds, and our couple of ski poles. Well, need it to all stay on there. There we go. It's all on there. 2.9 pounds. So that surprises me. I actually didn't think I was going to end up with 3 pounds, or almost 3 pounds. So this is going to just go as sheet aluminum. And sheet aluminum at my yard is $1.01 per pound right now. So times that by 2.9 pounds, $2.92 worth of aluminum. Not bad. You know, it's not fantastic, but the whole idea with this stuff is to save it up for a long period of time till you have a decent amount, and then you take it in. Still a lot better than 36 cents I would have got from the tin shred pile, 37 cents. So, hey, Now if I add in that $1.75, $4.67, well, we can round that up, $4.68 worth of aluminum in total. So not bad. That was just what I found that one night when I went out scrapping, right? So it all starts to add up pretty quick. Almost $5 worth of aluminum from one trip. I'll take it. Anyways, thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate you being here, and I hope I see you right here in the next one.